Hello, everybody. Welcome to Trojans Wire on the USC Voice of College Football. Hey, something's gone on with Tim. He adjusted the time to 10:15. Sorry about that for those who are expecting a 9 o'clock start. And Tim's calling me right now. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. All righty. Thanks. Yes, I'm starting now. Yes. Okay. Okay, so Tim's going to join us, and apparently he's had technology problems. Sorry about that, everybody. So that, yeah, we rescheduled for 10:15, so it was 10:30. Like that's the 15-minute grace period, and so I had to go live. So Tim then calls. Just been one of those mornings, I guess. But we're here, USC Voice of College Football. So shutout. USC pitches a shutout. Los Angeles sports fans certainly hope that Clayton Kershaw or Jack Flaherty will be able to do that in October a few times. But USC defends its end of the field until the very end. Pretty cool to see all the guys hooping and hollering when that Utah State 52-yard field goal missed wide left at the very end. Did not give up a single point. And it looked as though Utah State was going to score a field goal when it got down to the 20, but then that defense, two big negative plays, like they really wanted that. And you could tell it meant a lot to those guys. And like until that final drive and until Utah State did get down to the 20, it looked like it was going to be a shutout for USC. So just another magnificent performance by the D'Anton Lynn, Coach Henny, woof woof, Matt Entz, Doug Belk, Taylor Mays defense. Just so many superlatives. And yes, it's Utah State. You know, it was the one cupcake game on the schedule, but right, short week. You know, USC plays Sunday night, and that was a draining game against LSU. You might have thought, oh, they're going to be sleepy, they're going to be groggy for Utah State. They might just kind of slide through, go through the motions. No way. Exactly the opposite. This team was locked in on defense, stayed locked in. Backups were locked in. Starters were locked in. Everybody was locked in. And that is the transformation of the mindset, the transformation of the culture, the transformation of the modus operandi, to use a Latin phrase used by men of Troy of old. That is the transformation that we're seeing here at USC under D'Anton Lynn. So that's exciting, right? Just the mindset, the professionalism, the discipline, the focus, you know, everything's there for the USC defense. And you can say that it was a minor opponent, but again, you know, remember, we've seen teams that play the Sunday or Monday game on Labor Day, then they play a cupcake game in week 2 on the short week with the 4 days off or 5 days off. They get picked off, or at least they come close to losing. And let's mention Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois, Penn State getting a battle from Bowling Green, Iowa losing to Iowa State. Like a lot of top teams, and some of them in the Big Ten, they did get picked off in week 2. And Oregon got taken to the wire by Boise State. Oklahoma, a 27.5-point favorite at home, almost lost to Houston. So, like, you know, teams that USC measures itself against in the Big Ten, outside the Big Ten, they had a hard time against teams they really should have clobbered. USC did clobber its weaker opponent. So USC looks like a really good team right now. And obviously, you know, there's certainly reason for optimism, but we are just 2 games in. And that Michigan game is next. Obviously, we're going to be talking about that game a lot here on the USC channel at the Voice of College Football, September 21. And I don't know if a betting line has come out, but I'm going to say this is going to be very close to a toss-up. You know, maybe it might be Michigan opening at 1.5, 2 points, but by kickoff time, might be a pick'em. Could even be USC -1, -1.5 when it's all said and done. And hey, frankly, I would like Michigan to be the favorite because that's a reason for USC to say, hey, they still doubt us. They still don't think we're that good. But, you know, when you look at how Michigan's offense fared against Texas. Like, that's not it. That's not going to get Capone. You would think that this USC defense can keep that Michigan offense under wraps with Davis Warren. Can't really push the ball down the field. Michigan offensive line got worked by the Texas defensive front. So certainly an opportunity for USC to go into Ann Arbor and win that Michigan game. We're not going to make predictions right now, but like, it's right there. It's right there for USC, right there for the taking, and we'll certainly be talking about it the next 2 weeks here at the Voice of College Football. But that brings us to really the one big concern with this USC team. Defense, straight A's. Defense is knocking it out of the park. Like, there's no debate there. Like, I'm the bad cop, Tim's the good cop, but even me, Mr. Bad Cop, like, I can't say a bad thing about this defense, all right? You got to give the defense top marks across the board in every way. But the one weakness of this team, and it's not the offensive line. Offensive line run blocked, like, that was the goal for this Utah State game, be able to smash mouth, lean on some people. Offensive line did that. Now, Michigan will be the revealer of that offensive line. But the real concern is the wide receivers. Like, we did not see this coming. I did not see this coming. But for the second straight game, a ball is on the receiver's hands, and a defender is able to rake the ball out of the hands. The hands are on the ball, and the defender's coming over the shoulder, raking it away. Now, you praise the defender for the good effort, following through, not giving up on the play. Not going to say it wasn't, a good defensive effort by the LSU players last week, by Utah State this week. Hey, go to the weight room, guys. You need to be strong with the ball. Like, we talk about that in basketball. When you're double teamed in the low post, you have the rock. You need to hold that thing. You need to be strong with the ball. This is an Eric Musselman thing, I'm sure. He's teaching it in practice. So USC receivers need to be strong with the ball in traffic. We need to stop seeing this ball getting raked away when it's on your hands. Now, if the ball is in the air, different story. But when you get the ball on your hands, you need to pull it in, and you need to ward off that defender, and you need to be the big dog in that one-on-one battle. We can't keep seeing this happen where defenders are raking the ball away late. These catches need to be finished. Can't keep seeing this happen. And we saw Lake McCree fumble. And I know that, like, he was cutting inside. He was near the sideline. He was cutting inside toward the field. And from his blind side, he didn't see the Utah State defender. But he didn't have two arms over the ball. Didn't put two arms. And in the red zone, you need to be wrapping up. Two arms over the ball. So that's a lesson for Lake McCree to learn. And then, we saw drop passes. Jacoby Lane, Zachariah Branch, at or near the goal line. And, don't worry about turning up field. You need to catch the ball first. Come on, folks. Like, and this is basic 101 type stuff from the USC receivers. So, hey, it didn't matter against Utah State, but come on, we need to clean this up. And that's the kind of play, if it keeps happening against Michigan, if it happens against Penn State, if it happens against Notre Dame, could mean the difference between a victory and a defeat, could mean the difference between making the Big Ten championship game and not, could make the difference between making the college football playoff and not. So, like, that's certainly stuff for USC to clean up. We saw Miller Moss, who, wasn't bad, but wasn't great. Heck, he kept trying to force that pass into the back of the end zone, to have Deuce Robinson go up and grab the ball. And hey, we know Deuce Robinson can leap pretty high for the ball, but you don't have to force it. Scan the whole field. There are other wide receivers open. Look for someone who's more open in space. You don't just have to throw the jump ball. There are other ways to get a touchdown. So with Tim Prangley here, you got my opening remarks, and I can turn it over to Tim. Tim? Technology is a real beast right now. But anyway, while Tim figures things out, all right, so some more opening remarks here on USC at the Voice of College Football. So I was just about to say, Miller Moss forced a few passes, trying to get the jump ball. Like, you don't have to do that. You can look at other avenues. And he threw an out route. I forget exactly in the game when it was, but he threw an out route to the left side of the field, telegraphed it, almost intercepted for a pick six.
All right.
And saw that happen in the Holiday Bowl against Louisville, if you remember. So certain things Miller Moss did, he was not at the very top of his game. Well, in Ann Arbor, he will need to be at the very top of his game. At the very least, and I think Tim would agree with me once his sound works and he joins our conversation here. For USC Michigan, to me, the key is really obvious that USC's defense should be able to smother that Michigan offense. I don't think a single person watching this show here at the USC channel at the Voice of College Football would disagree with that. Like, USC's D should put the clamps on that Michigan offense that we saw against Texas. All right. So the key for USC, don't commit huge mistakes on offense or special teams. I mean, it really is that simple. Don't give Michigan free points. And when you're in the red zone, be sure you get 3 instead of 0. Try to get 7 instead of 3, but at least make sure that you're getting points on your drives. Like, I could see USC winning this game 15-10. 5 field goals, okay. Like, that might be enough. Make sure you're not turning the ball over so that you don't get 3 points on a trip inside the Michigan red zone. And remember, Woody Marks had that dumb lateral against LSU. USC was to recover that fumble. That could have been a game changer. So USC has not been clean with the ball. USC has not displayed elite ball security, gotten away with a lot. Tim mentioned last week, in fact, Miller Moss had a couple balls tipped at the line of scrimmage. So he didn't have that problem against Utah State. So that's good. Like, he learned that particular lesson. But in terms of forcing passes, telegraphing passes, that still cropped up a little bit against Utah State. But if USC commits 0 turnovers and Oregon would have lost to Boise State if it hadn't returned 2
Matt, you got me?
touchdowns. There, can finally hear you, Tim.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot that goes into this audio if I'm going to do the phone calls, and we do have a phone call on the line right now. Just want to make sure I had everything going before I hopped on here. So the last thing you guys want to do is have me do 5 test calls in order to do it. But we are good. We can hit all those things, but I don't know if we want to hold the call or take our first call. We'll do either way you want to do it.
Let's go the call.
All right, caller, hang on 1 second. Caller, hang on 1 second. The short story for me is that, really quick, my question to you, Matt, is you think it's a low scoring game, but Texas was able to put 31 points. Now, I don't know if our defense, we're going to kind of like pass rush or up front. I like what we're looking at, but the big question here is going to be is how many points are we going to score? This offense, I mean, I know Michigan is an absolute nightmare to deal with, but I'm telling you, one, they look like they got some chinks in that armor, but also the fact that I think that USC's offense is showing that, we're not your average offense. So I think we put up a lot more. Remember earlier I said we scored about 20, and we're in that range about how many points would be scored in the game. I said I guarantee we score over 20. We score over 30 points, and we overscore over 30 points. I'm very bullish on us winning this game. So that's the opening for me. Caller, hi. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Aaron from Indio.
Aaron, how you doing? Thanks for calling back. You called me the other day.
How are you guys?
We're doing great.
Yeah.
Now that we're on the show.
Yeah, man. Go ahead. What was that?
Go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, I just asked that question. I don't know if you guys are able to touch on this. But that Saturday that you guys had watched where Lincoln Riley let you guys in just the precedent to watch the scrimmage. And I remember, Tim, you were sharing kind of like, man, a lot of people are going to be surprised by the defense. But is this kind of what you expected with these last 2 games, kind of, off of that scrimmage? And, are they kind of playing like you guys saw that weekend?
Yeah, we were told we were not to report on anything we saw, as far as plays or whatever. But no, we could do what I did. And I said, off of my observation, I became very, very excited about what we're going to see. If you remember after that, I went from saying, conservatively 9, hey, I think we're going to go 9-3. After that, I was saying we're going at least 10-2. So I said, but I said, I'm going to settle on 10-2 because I talked about the fact that, it's scrimmages are scrimmages. He's got this offense has seen the defense has seen the offense all through the spring and into the fall. So it's kind of hard to pull something from that. But I did say I was excited. And yeah, a big part of it was just the tackling. There wasn't a whole lot of tackling in that scrimmage, I'll be honest with you. But the tackling we're seeing at practice, the tackling that we're seeing in that scrimmage that we did see, the physicality of this team was evident. And that's the one thing that this team keeps talking about. When you ask them, what's the biggest change in your defense this year, last year? They talk about physicality. They've done it many times, spring, fall, and now even into the season.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then who do you think has played, like, which position group everyone's been amazing, but in your opinion, who do you think has been the best position group defensively so far?
I initially said it was going to be the secondary, Matt, but I'm going linebackers. What I've seen from the linebackers, Eric Gentry has just been amazing. He's been that guy we saw at Arizona State in the backfield, just attacking and playing well. Mason Cobb was hurt in this game, but you had guys like Rajon coming in that game late, and I saw him make some plays. The linebackers under Matt Entz have made just a huge leap. Easton Mascarenas Arnold is going, kind of had a bit of, I'm not gonna lie, kind of seemed like he had a bit of a rough start, but he's been playing better, and he got the interception in the game last night. So if there's one guy in this team that I'm, position I'm not worried about, sorry, it's him, and I'm sure the game's going to come to him. And he's been playing solid. I just think that there's more. He's leaving some on the table, and when he does turn that on, this linebacker room is just going to be insane.
Gentry's been kind of playing like we thought he was going to play, right? Like when he first came over from Arizona State, like that 6'6" frame kind of can do everything. Like they're actually like getting everything out of him. Like that's how I imagined him playing the whole time.
What do you think, Matt?
With a good, obviously, defensive coaches.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, so you can't go wrong with Tim's answer. The linebackers have been spectacular. They played so well last night without Mason Cobb, right? No drop off. Like, what does that tell you about the way that whole linebacker room is being coached up? But I would say defensive line, like the pig farmer Bryson Barnes went up against a real defense. What a night and day! Total 180 from Alex Grinch last year when he came in with Utah, right? Bryson Barnes didn't have a chance. Right. He didn't have a shot. He couldn't throw the ball more than 8 yards down the field. Like, it was just a total swarm. And so the defensive line was just getting after it. And I saw the tweet from Coach Henney, woof, woof, don't give him SHIT. Like, don't give him nothing. And that was true. They weren't giving him anything. Even at the very end of the game, there was no time for Bryson Barnes to throw the deep ball. All he could do was throw the short intermediate pass. So, just an absolute great job by the front four, just swarming all the time. It was beautiful to watch, because you knew early third quarter, there's no drop off here. They really could pitch a shutout, and they certainly they actually were able to do that. And it's not really often you can say that, about any defense that, with 10 minutes left in the third quarter, they could shut them out. This is trending toward a shutout. And then they actually do it. This is not an ordinary defense. So.
Were you thinking along those same lines, Aaron? Aaron, you there? I think we lost Aaron. Great question, Aaron. Thank you so much for calling. But yeah, the defense is looking, again, we were bullish. We thought they were going to look great. They look better than we expected. That's the great news in all of this. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you guys doing? It's Preston from Miami.
Hey, Craig. You said Craig, correct?
Preston.
Preston, I'm so sorry. I'll figure this audio out for sure. Go ahead. Sorry, Preston. What's your question or what's your comment for the day?
Hey, man, just 2 great wins. Very happy with this team. Last night, you saw more of the camaraderie, more of the togetherness, more of the depth. Happy for each other, happy for the backups, happy for the youngsters. And, you know, I said 10+ wins coming into the season. I think if we get that Michigan game, we're going to be a 12-0 team. I see us easily being a 12-0 team. I think the key for that is going to be our offensive line. Getting out that run game. You know, I don't think any of us are really used to, at least in the past 3 years, we're used to these big, you know, chunk plays down the field, 40, 50-yard passes and whatnot. We got to run the ball, man. I tweeted out something this morning, first series of the game last night after the penalty, Elijah Page getting out there on a pool, and he's ended up 30 yards downfield. If we continue to do that, get pushed from the offensive line, and really establish the run game, Michigan is not going to be able to hang with us at all. Lastly, I will be in Ann Arbor. There's rumors of a yellow and a blue stripe in the stadium, but the attire for me is all black because it's going to be a funeral. Fight on.
Fight on, Preston. Preston's coming in with that heat, man. He's already feeling the Trojan victory in 2 weeks. Matt, what are your initial thoughts on Preston? What Preston has to share with us?
You know, I picked USC over LSU, but if you watched our preview show, our call-in show right before LSU, you know, I was getting pretty antsy with people picking USC by 25, 27 points. And like, there's something about, you know, the sports gods and the football gods. Like, I like kind of doing the Lou Holtz thing, playing possum, or at least, you know, being cautious. And, you know, hey, if some people want to just be bold and put it out there like Preston did, that's fine. It's just not how I roll. And I'm seeing some people in the chat, smart people in the chat, saying, hey, we should be able to put 30 points on Michigan the way Texas did. You know what? My outlook is if Michigan scores 12, just as long as we score 13, I will be a very happy bunny coming out of that game. Really, just get the win. Let's not say 12-0, you know, we're gonna win the national title. You know, I mean, it's possible. And I will say, okay, just to be like, we tell it like it is, good or bad. Right now, USC and Ohio State are the two best teams in the Big Ten in terms of how they look, in terms of what they've done right now. But it's just 2 weeks in. Teams are still settling into their schemes, their systems. Like, I would think that Oregon will get better. Now, we all hope that does not happen. And there are reasons for concern up in Eugene with that offensive line and Dylan Gabriel. Like, they're not in sync. Hopefully that will continue. But you would think that Oregon will work its way into the season, get better, at least right now. You would think that Penn State will play better defense than it did against Bowling Green. Again, I hope it doesn't happen. Like, I hope Penn State continues to struggle. And I hope that, you know, Michigan's defensive line continues to not play great because Texas's offensive line manhandled Michigan. So there are lots of reasons for optimism. So I'm not going to ignore or deny that. But I'm not the type to say, oh, USC is just going to walk into the big house and clobber them. I will take the ugliest 1-point win you've ever seen if that means a W for the Trojans. Given the significance of this game and the potential attached to this game. So that's kind of the way I'm emotionally, mentally processing this game. But I do realize the potential is there for something special. I'm certainly not going to ignore that right now.
Yeah, I watching the way, and by the way, you hope that Oregon plays better. I don't hope that Oregon plays better. I'm glad they're playing the way they are. I think I maybe I misheard you. How they say I hope they play better, but I don't really care how they play. I
don't hope they'll be better, but I do think they'll be better.
Okay, I'll tell you this, because there were some years, and we're not going to lie here, if we're being honest with everybody, that we were hoping for other teams to play poorly. The cool thing is when USC's playing like it's playing, when USC's playing like it should play, I don't really care how anybody plays. If I've seen from this team in 2 games, if USC brings that to the game, we play with anybody this year. You know, again, I said a couple of times that you give Lincoln Riley a decent defense, And wow, look at what this offense is going to do. And people said that for years, but he didn't have one. Well, now he has one, and he doesn't have a decent defense. I mean, we don't know, Matt, how good this defense can be. We know it's good. We've seen 2 games where, I mean, last night Lincoln Riley said, that it's not easy in modern football to pitch a shutout, and that's very, very true. It's probably easier to score 66 points, 77 points than it is for you to pitch a shutout, because just things happen. So this shows you just how switched on and on their game and on focus. I mean, hyper focus. That's one of the big things I would say about this defense. They just seem like they don't get distracted. They don't listen to outside noise. They don't let issues, they get past mistakes, and they move on to the next play. It just seems like this coaching staff has made such a huge impact on this team. Certain players that have come into our program have made a huge impact on the roster. And we just, at this point, don't know how good this defense can be. So, yeah, Oregon, sort your problems out. Oklahoma having trouble. Sort your problems out. Good luck to all you guys. Michigan, I know they're going to have something special for us, so let's not bury them yet.
Yeah, let's not.
So
let's do it on the field. Let's do it on the field. Amen.
Yeah, so Preston, I am excited for this defense. Like the first caller said, I really wasn't allowed to talk about how excited and the whys, but you guys are beginning to see the why and that depth, the depth that everyone was worried about on our team. We're pretty deep at most positions. We are the positions that was harped on. I still wouldn't want to see where we go if we go to our 3rd string or even 2nd string. But again, the way they're playing right now, with immediate backups at most positions, it looks like we're in for a great season. We got you still, Preston?
Yeah, man. Those are all great points. I just want to let you guys know, man. Hey, I believe in the football gods. The football guys know we were done wrong. They know we were done wrong, and they know we're due for one. And the football guys love USC, man. So that's all I gotta say. We're gonna be all right. And I'm standing on business on my 10+ wins. You guys have a good day. Fight on.
2. Thank you.
Great call. Thank you, Preston. Fight on. Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, they've smiled on USC 11 times, and it's not like they're going to stop. And it's great. It's great. Like I always say, it's a great day to be a Trojan. It's always a great day to be a Trojan. But after dominating fashion, and then was going to point fingers and say, yeah, this is just Utah State, great for handling Aggies. But in the past, we might have struggled to a 35-17 win, or something like that. This game was emphatic. This is the team you saw in Las Vegas. This wasn't some fluke that happened in Las Vegas. This is a solid team on both sides of the ball that play complementary football. And now we're seeing with this defense that can take it to it and give the ball right back to the offense. So again, sky's the limit. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Victor. I'm calling in from New York. I stayed up real late to watch that game. Really sad that the stadium lights went off for a couple minutes there. But dude, a lot of great things from last night. Defense looked awesome. Jaden Mayala, come on. I saw that fumble snap and the recovery, and then the little scramble for a touchdown. I was like, where does Lincoln Riley keep signing these guys? But it was good to see. I don't know if he's gonna get a lot of time. I hope he doesn't get a lot of time this season, because if he does, that means Miller Moss went down. So we'll just bank that for the future. But looked good. I'll admit I was a little bit critical of the game, because I expected a win, and I was like, yeah, we gotta beat Utah State. Let's see what we can do better on. And I mean, the receivers were dropping passes, didn't like that too much. But hey, if it's gonna happen at any game, let's make it happen at the Utah State game. It's not let it happen at Penn State or Michigan, because hey, that would really kill us. One more thing. After seeing like the slate of games for this week, I think Nebraska is gonna look like a much tougher game in November. Notre Dame and Michigan are gonna get better, but honestly, I don't think I've had as much faith in this team and this defense as I've ever had. So yeah, fight on, man. Let's look forward to it.
Yeah, a lot of people appear, Victor, that they agree with you regarding that Nebraska team. I'll be honest with you, I have not seen that game. I didn't see the game yet, Matt. But I will tell you, a lot of teams, I didn't even talk about, maybe Matt did, talking about Notre Dame, talking about Penn State. These are games I thought would be really difficult. I'm not saying that they're a breeze. I'm not saying, but I'm saying all the teams that we were pretty high on this pedestal and saying, gosh, I really hope USC could rise to the occasion. I hope that our depth is good enough for it. I mean, USC has answered all the questions. Now we have more questions from these other schools, and it'll be interesting to see, one, how the media sees the situation after week 2. I know that Mark Rogers and that Matt Zemek are going to be very clear how they're going to treat schools that squeak past, inferior talent, just getting by a Houston, for instance, just a field goal to beat a Boise State or losing your game on Saturday. I know how they're going to treat that stuff. It's going to be really interesting to see how the national media does when USC continues to play how they are. I'm assuming, that USC is going to make a nice, consistent move up. It's going to be hard because you're still going to have that, it's Utah State stuff. But with the LSU before it, it's really difficult to make that argument.
Update. So in the coaches poll, and we're going to publish that coaches poll when we're done with the show today here at the Voice of College Football. Oregon 6. Oregon did not move down after just barely skating by Boise State at home and getting outplayed for most of that game at home at night. USC moves up 3 spots to 11. So still, Oregon 5 spots ahead of USC, even though USC has the win over LSU and absolutely obliterated Utah State, while Oregon has looked like trash. And that just tells you how lazy these voters are with their rankings, and also how, like, the preseason poll dictates, well, they were number 3 to start the season, so maybe we'll drop them down a little bit, but we're going to still keep them ahead of the team, USC, that we had at number 23. So USC's moved up, but the idea that you can rank Oregon 5 spots ahead of USC or anywhere ahead of USC after the 2 weeks that you've seen, you are not a serious person if that's your view.
Yeah, well, we remember last year, and granted, they were probably right on it. They were probably smack dab right. Obviously, they did call it. But it's weird how certain teams get moved when they win, right? And other teams, when they play poorly. And by the way, I get moving a team down that wins when they look poorly and there's flaws to their team. When you look at the reason why you don't move Oregon down just because there's a close game is because, hey, teams come to play, whatever, etc. The other teams didn't come to play. There's a lot that gets baked into a football game. But when you see the consistent issues on the offensive line that you're seeing at Oregon, you see a huge flaw to a team. And you see them having difficulty at both sides, actually, of the ball with the Boise State team. You have to sit there and scratch your head and not just go, well, Dan Lanning and SEC and Dan Lanning in the SEC of the West, number 6. And that's what you begin to hear from some of this stuff. And it just gets a bit tiring. Sure USC still not. So this is the updated poll. Yeah, right, Matt?
Yep, that's right.
And USC not in the top 10. I'm not sure what football these people are watching, but
hey,
the bias is clear.
And it's more free motivation for this team. So
yeah, you keep winning, and it's gonna be fine. I just would love to see that how the elevator, the cord gets snapped if certain teams lose a game and other teams have difficult games and they win and they really don't have much of a move. And there's no excuse to keep Oregon in the top 6. I'm not saying they drop out of the top 10, but explain to me why they're still they had no ding for what happened to them. That's pretty crazy.
Absolutely. Preston? Before we take our next call, Adam Lamparello coming in with $100. Adam, you are the man. We just thank you so much for your support of the USC channel and our show, the Conquest Call-In Show here at the Voice of College Football. Adam, thank you so much. It's just in terms of motivation, we talk about USC being motivated. Tim and I are motivated each time we get one of these very generous contributions from Adam Lamparello. Adam, thank you.
I'm gonna be dead serious with you guys. It's not the money that motivates me, but I will tell you, those wins like last night, that motivates me. You fans that show up here, Adam, you are just a top-notch supporter without a doubt of this show that we do. But there are so many people in here as well that don't get as much headline as you that are really important to me. But it's hard to argue with financially. You're always here. When you call in, you always bring great conversation. And in the chat, it's hard to argue that you're not there almost every single day. I think you missed one day, and since we've been doing this, so appreciate you being here, and appreciate all of you guys. And if you, matter of fact, you guys that are here right now, if you want to help out the show in a way, you could also help us out by just hitting that like button. I know it seems apparently a very difficult thing to do because a lot of people don't do it. You hit that like button, it really helps us out. Another way you help us out to let us know, and here's the biggest way we do. If you hit subscribe, if you subscribe to the channel, we know that we're giving you guys shows like this one. If you like what we're doing, if you like this we do a pop-up show after the game. Show us, show us again with your wallet like they're doing, or show us with that like, and please subscribe, because again, these little things do help out the channel to let us know that we're doing the right thing, and so we'll keep doing it. When we don't get those subscriptions, we think, okay, what next, Matt? Maybe not this kind of a format. Maybe just like different. So if you're liking what we do, go ahead and support the channel by hitting that subscription, and make sure you hit the notification, because then we go live. But Adam, amazing. Thank you so much. And just as I was speaking, we got another one. Matt, if you could pop that up. Maybe you could be in charge of those today. That'd be cool. Danny Kennedy, thank you so much. 9 months as a member, and I will say that USC has put the Big Ten on notice. Yeah, they're talking preseason, right, Danny? They were whistling past the graveyard. I was on this network, not necessarily on our show, talking about this defense, and I was like, I would say laughed at was probably a bit too harsh, but people were just calling me a homer, basically saying, oh, geez, he's really drinking that Kool-Aid. Yeah, USC is going to be really good. Okay, sure. And I kept saying, the difference is this year I saw it. I saw them on the field. I've seen the differences in the players. They walked past me. So some people listened. Some people laughed. I don't think many people are laughing now.
Nope.
So thank you, Victor. Great call. Appreciate you very much, and hope you call back again. It's going to be a great season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Final thoughts. I'm going to Ann Arbor, so man, that's gonna be interesting. I really hope we get the win, but I really hope Lincoln Riley doesn't call as many bubble screens as he did last night, because man, I was like, give me something explosive. But hey, we got the 48 points. That's all that matters.
Remember, Victor, fight on. Remember though, Victor. Remember play call like 101. You can't just start throwing the ball all over the place. You have to keep a defense honest. And some of the ways you could do that with either mitigating a pass rush, or maybe you want to bring those quarters up on your players so you can go deep. You have to play the game. Sometimes you'll see teams running the ball. Why are they running? They can't even they're running into the line again. They're not getting yards. You may see us do that. You may see us crack it off 70-yard touchdowns, but you can't abandon something. You have to make the defense. You got to keep them on their toes. So sometimes the calls don't always make sense, but if you really look at the bigger picture, they really do. And one thing, fans, and I said this last 2 years in a row, and I'm saying for year 3, you can go after Riley for a couple decisions he's made his first 2 years, right? There's one big blinking, glaring one, right? Taken care of now. But I'm sorry, Matt. I even said to you last year a couple of times, anybody that wants to call Lincoln Riley for play calling, I'm just saying, is he perfect? No. But is there anybody that does it better than him in college football?
No.
Okay. So
and the other thing, let me jump in here. This will be the Michigan game will be Miller Moss's first true road game and his first Big Ten road game. Those wide receiver screens, they might not be explosive, but you want to get Miller Moss into the game. You want to give him a rhythm. You want him to get a feel for the game. Why not give him some short, easy completions so that he doesn't have to stress out, right? Like that's going to be a good first quarter play. And then that, as Tim said, you can bring the corners up. It's going to set things up later in the game. Like, I'm okay with that. But yeah, I'm going to let Lincoln Riley call his ball game. I'm going to leave him the heck alone there. Main thing for the offense is for the wide receivers to catch balls. That's the main thing. And for USC to not turn anything over.
Yep.
Before we take our next call, Guy Smithson, $2. Thank you. Future is bright and we are loving it. I mean, lots of reason for optimism. So much reason for optimism. Now, we need to see it carry forward. But yes, very optimistic outlook here. And our friend Roy Benuelos, $10. Thank you, Roy. Roy, an amazing supporter of our show. And it means the world to us, parent of one of the players on the team, following our humble little show here at the Voice of College Football. Roy, that means a lot to Tim and myself. I know it means a lot, especially to Tim. Thank you so much, Roy, for your support. Everyone here, we love having you as part of our family here at the Voice of College Football.
And again, Roy's one of those people that we really appreciate the super chats. But for me, again, I look at you guys, look at the chat, and I see people I've been seeing since there were only 15, 20 people out there. And he's one of them. And just means a lot to me that we're building this, which reminds me, guys, make sure you're letting friends know about us. You could do it on social media. You could do it right now. Just call your buddy and say, hey, these guys are talking football right now. Go and check them out at Voice of College Football.
And you want to do the same with Trojans Wire. Tim had a great gallery, took a lot of awesome photos last night of the game. So you want to, you want to support Tim's work. Tim's work is here, but it's also online. Trojanswire.usatoday.com. It's on our homepage. It's on the front of our page. Check out Tim Prangley's exclusive Trojans Wire photo gallery of last night's Utah State game.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm putting a lot into that photo. I've really kind of caught the bug, and it's really fun and exciting to do, and the reward is really great at the end of the game when you have some nice shots. I got a great shot. I'll tease it right now. You guys go check out my shot of and I'm probably gonna put out a series of them, but go ahead and check out my picture of Zachariah Branch. I got a really cool picture, I think, of him during the game. If you guys probably remember the run. Sometimes that dude looks like, what's the old cliche? You can't tackle him in a phone booth. It just seems like guys are falling all over themselves trying to tackle him.
Yeah, the hurdle, right?
Yeah, he's going.
Yeah, great photo.
Spoiler alert, mask. Yeah, so you go around it. He goes around you. He goes through you because he does. He has also, for his size, he's not a slight guy, but he's not the biggest guy. He also can go through guys, and that's the part of his game that really excites me the most as well. So. Amazing sequence of shots I have that I'll share with you guys, and you can check it out on Trojan Wire. Hi, caller. Thank you for waiting. You guys be calling if we're talking. Just give us a minute to wrap up. We promise we'll get right to you. Okay, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi guys, this is Dan out of LA. Just calling. I'm feeling really good about my prediction from the beginning of the season of USC going 11-1 at least, and then. Also, I said they would beat the pants off of Michigan as well, only because I've called in before and I said that their schedule sets up perfect because they have that big, high emotional game, and then they have that kind of come back to earth game against Utah, and then a whole bye week, and then Michigan. And now we see what Michigan is. I think USC is going to beat the pants off of them. I don't see Michigan moving the ball against USC's defense, and I've seen this before from when Pete Carroll when he first started. This team just has a different feeling, and I'm not holding back. I think USC is going to beat Michigan, and then whoever else comes next, Wisconsin, Nebraska, they can line up, and they're not going to have a chance in the Coliseum. That's just my opinion, I guess, being a homer, but I see it. I would say that probably running the ball though, the offensive line did really well doing that, but we need to see them doing against better opponents of getting a stronger push, but other than that, I don't see Michigan having a chance.
So here's what I'm going to say, and I want to be 100% wrong on this, Matt. And Dan, I hope you forgive me next week or in 2 weeks if I'm completely wrong, because I very well could be completely wrong on this. That defense is legitimate, and as much as I say we're going to score 30 points, listen, if they're firing on cylinders, that defense, especially the front seven, can give us trouble. So let's not get that twisted at all. Our offensive line has been playing well. They're going to need to play their best game against Michigan to keep, not to keep, to limit the amount of, let's say, grass stains on Miller Moss's shoulder pads, and knees, etc. You need to make sure you keep Miller not only upright, but like Matt talked about, those passing lanes. Do those deflected balls coming back? Will we have probably, how do I say this, a little more talent up front that USC is going to have to mitigate to get those passing lanes, to keep those guys' heads down and allow USC to play well. So there's those things you need to worry about. But if they do that, I'm going to be honest, Michigan people, I know you guys think we're talking a lot of trash right now. Hey, we watched your team yesterday, and there were a lot of things exposed about your team that, quite frankly, I kind of questioned in the offseason. How do you the coaching, just the level of coaching turnover, to assume you're going to nail all those hires, is a tough task that you probably were going to see some hurt for that. So, where I'm not worried like we were like I was before watching them play and watching us play the last 2 weeks, I still have reservations about chalking up a W because you're going into Ann Arbor, our first Big Ten matchup. This team has held together really good. What's the adversity like on the road? We haven't seen this team on the road yet. My assumption is this is another thing people talk very much about. This is a very veteran defense. I mean, there's not a lot of youth on this defense. So I'm assuming they'll play well. A lot of these guys have played in very loud environments. But let's not chalk up a victory in Ann Arbor just like that. Matt, your thoughts?
Very much agree. I do think that the Michigan defensive front, though it didn't play well against Texas, I mean, let's keep in mind. I mean, Michigan might have gone into that Texas game thinking it was the real deal, and then Texas dumped a bucket of cold water over them. That doesn't mean that's the exact same Michigan defense we're going to see 2 weeks later against USC. And keep in mind, I mean, Quinn Ewers, he's been around the block. His veteran presence, he did lead Texas to the college football playoff semifinals last year. That's a quarterback who is very, very comfortable. And this is not to say that Miller Moss won't be comfortable, but Miller Moss doesn't have the same big game experience and exposure that Quinn Ewers does. So Texas had a few things going in its favor. And then Michigan now for 2 weeks, Michigan is going to be mad at itself. Look how poorly we played. That was embarrassing. That was humiliating. Michigan's going to be fired up for this game. And the idea that USC's offensive line is just going to come in and mash. Now, hey, I hope it happens, okay, to be very, very clear. But the idea that USC is just going to physically manhandle this Michigan defensive front, I certainly wouldn't assume that. I mean, it could happen. Texas outworked them, so USC certainly could as well. It's certainly a legitimate possibility, but I wouldn't go in making assumptions. And all the things I enumerated in my opening remarks before Tim came on, with Miller Moss telegraphing the pass, trying to force a few throws, receivers not finishing catches, ball security not being, really airtight, Lake McCree fumbling a week ago, the Woody Marks lateral. Like USC could have committed 3-4 more turnovers than it has. What if a tipped pass against LSU turns into a pick? Lucky that it didn't. What if the Woody Marks fumble is recovered by LSU? Lucky that it didn't happen that way. So USC has plenty to clean up on offense. And if those things aren't cleaned up against Michigan, this is going to be a rough ride. I'm not predicting that USC is going to be sloppy against Michigan, but this is something that we can see as a legitimate possibility. And if you add Michigan's defensive front playing really well, which is a possibility, I'm not predicting it, but it's a definite possibility, this game could spin sideways. We've seen lots of games in college football already spin sideways. It happens every year, right? So, no one had Northern Illinois beating Notre Dame in South Bend. So, being optimistic, sure, I would be if I'm USC as well, but I wouldn't assume certain outcomes or scenarios or progressions of play We need to just see this USC team go on the road in front of 112, 110,000 people and silence that crowd. And until that happens, well, let's carry some optimism, but let's not be too certain about the way this game's going to play out.
Yeah, and just be cautiously optimistic. I think what we've seen from Michigan and what we've seen from USC, clearly, even before the games yesterday, that line after the LSU game was coming down. It's going to be interesting where that thing settles before the game kicks off in a couple of weeks. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised with the line movement as well.
Before we take our next call, Runaway Profit, thank you for the $10 super chat. Happy our game was late so the boys could see what happens when betting favorites don't give their best. Shout out to Tim and Matt, keeping it real. Shout out to Trojan Blade too. Always worth shouting out Gabe at Trojan Blade. Thank you, Runaway Profit.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for that. Yeah, I'm also grateful for the fact that it was hot last night. I know it didn't feel good, but it was moving around. If you're moving during the game, taking pictures, it's hot. I was glad also that was not a noon or a 3:30 kick, because that would have been brutal in LA. It's been really, really hot lately, and that definitely would have been taking some of the air out of the game for sure.
115 in where I am in Phoenix on Friday.
Again, Matt, I think you lost a bet or something. There's just no way I could live anywhere where it's like, where I hear people say it's 10 degrees outside or it's 120 degrees outside. That would be a no call for me. I'm sorry. Call me soft, but that's just me.
This Friday in Phoenix, this upcoming Friday, the forecast overnight low is 79. It's going to be the first time the overnight low's been in the 70s in like 4 months. I'm so ready to throw a party.
And really quickly before we move on, hang on, Dan. So you guys have brought it up a number of times in the chat, but yes, USC's picked up a commitment from Ty Jackson, 6'1", 200 pounds, from Seminole Ridge in Florida. I don't really know what to say about. There's a lot of people, I already could hear it, talking about how we didn't get this California recruit, how we didn't get that California recruit. But what I am telling you is you got Matai Tagawi. I think I say it right. And he's from California, but then you have Jaden Perlott. That kid also he's from Georgia. Those three linebackers, you guys, no one should be complaining about we didn't get this guy, we didn't get my favorite recruit, etc. You guys should be just thank you, Matt Entz. These kids are definitely seeing on the field, and I've been saying this to you. As soon as you get to show these guys some proof of concept, they're going to show up and they're going to start flocking to this team. So the players are now coming. Just another piece of the puzzle is dropping. USC's recruiting is getting sorted out. Matt, any thoughts on just either Ty Jackson or linebackers in general?
You're seeing proof of concept winning recruits. It's that simple. Recruits are seeing how USC's playing. They're being convinced, and hopefully Jakeem Stewart, right? That's the really big fish out there. Hopefully, like the needle's moving in his direction. Hopefully, he'll make a decision pretty soon. Adam Lamparello wanted to know how you get Tim Prangley's cap. Jeff Rodriguez said Hall of Goats. That's how you get it.
That's right. This is not my cap. This is absolutely. So if you guys follow, I got right here. We also got this one. Yeah, the people at House of Goats got me this hat. I love it. I mean, I wore it at a game last night. So, yeah, it's great. The great hats. Go check them out online. I should have a link. If you're watching this on record, I'll drop the link in the description section. But just really great merchandise. They got hoodies. They got everything. Just really great merchandise, you guys. They're not a sponsor of ours. I just love their stuff, and you guys should go check it out.
Before we take the next call, Danny Kennedy, thank you. $5. USC Michigan will be close, but I have faith USC will come out on top. Well, in 2 weeks, we're all going to find out. And Tim's going to be there. By the way, Tim's going to be in Ann Arbor. So looking forward to his coverage of that game.
I can't wait. I've never been there. Yeah, I've been to East Lansing, and I've been Notre Dame a bunch of times, but I've never been to the Big House. I'm just getting ready for all of that experience. I cannot wait. Hi, Carl. Thank you. Speaking of waiting, thank you, Carl, for waiting. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello? Okay, guys, just so I can explain really quickly to everybody, what happens is I'll bring you onto the call, and what I need you guys to do is just relax a little bit.
Tim?
Just relax a second and let us bring you onto the show. So when you call in, just kind of hang out, listen to the conversation. As soon as we get a break in the conversation, we'll go ahead and bring you in. So hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Mario from Silver Lake.
Hey, Mario. How you doing?
All right. How'd you guys enjoy the game yesterday?
A lot.
Yeah, pleasantly confirming everything that I was laughed at over the summer, which is, again, anyone's ever had happen to you, it's a beautiful thing.
Right. Yesterday I had something that I haven't been able to do for a long time, and that is enjoy the game, because usually the second half I'm moving around in my living room trying to find a good luck spot because things are going south. And I was able to stay put because I knew the defense was gonna, show up like they showed that they're doing. And it was so nice. I just can't put it into words that watching SC again has become, even my dog was not, I didn't have to give him a little, those little gummies to not freak out, because I usually yell at the TV. But I was calm and cool. That was wonderful. I miss it.
Yeah, and this brings
one of the
this
things
brings up a point. Well,
hey,
let me say very briefly. Last year when USC got like a 24 point lead over Colorado, Arizona State, you knew the game wasn't over, because you knew that the defense was going to give up a few splash plays and it was going to get nervous at the end. Yeah, we don't have that now. USC's going up by 24. That's locked down.
Yeah, awesome. And one of the things that I'm not going to say I'm enjoying, but one of the things that I'm like smiling inside about is when this particular team is having, like just a little slip ups here and there, because I guess it's angst or whatever it is, or early in the season, and they're having them on offense and not defense. I am so at peace because I know who Lincoln Riley is, and he's an offensive genius. So I know they're going to get fixed. If we were having like these little slip-ups in the defense, I would say, well, it's still a little bit of room for concern. But our defense is showing up so strong. It is so awesome to watch. And these little hiccups on offense, I know they're going to get fixed. I just hope that there was enough recruits, there watching this game. Do you guys know of any recruits that were there, by the way?
There were a bunch, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. I guess that's the best way I can say to you.
Oh, okay.
You know what you should do? Is oh wait, no, that's true. I can talk about it. Sorry. Hey, listen, I'm kind of new to the beat. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna show my green. I'm not sure what I can. So I know I can't take pictures. Look, I'd rather not. Here's what I will tell you though. This show we do follow recruiting as part of football. But if you want to talk recruiting, if you're not over on 247, or if you're not over on 3 or Rivals or these sites, it's literally dedicated to that stuff. Rivals. So everyone does their flavor. Look. Some people like vanilla. I like chocolate. You know what I mean? Whatever your flavor is, all the guys at all those sites do a great job covering recruiting. And it's literally what their job is. These guys get paid. These guys are legitimate professionals. I might give the rankings some crap, but their coverage and their words talking about the players, I'm hanging on to every word they say. And whether it's like the guru over at Gerard Martinez, over on 247, or if you're going over any of these, I throw that with my chocolate, right? But I'm a subscriber to all of these, and it's cheap, you guys. It's not much money. It's like $10 a month. If you guys always ask these recruiting questions, if you're not a member to like 2 or 3 of these places, what are you doing? Because these guys do an amazing job. I mess with the rankings. I don't agree with the rankings, but the coverage of recruiting that all platforms do, they do a great job.
Excellent. One other thing before I go, TrojansWire.what? What is it for your pictures?
TrojansWire.usatoday.com.
usatoday.com.
Or it's also in the description. You guys
have a great.
You can't miss it. You can't miss it if you go to the description of this video. I have it plastered all over, so you'll find it.
Oh.
Or just look up Matt Zemek, Trojans Wire, or Tim Prangley, Trojans Wired, and you'll find us.
And so we've already advertised Tim's photo gallery of the Utah State game. Our other featured items, one, my report card for the various position groups and coaches. That's another feature. And I have a column on all the off-season scrutiny and criticism that was devoted to Lincoln Riley. It should have been directed to Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame instead. Notre Dame number 7 in the preseason polls, USC number 23. So Marcus Freeman was given the benefit of the doubt. The pollsters, coaches, and AP, they gave Marcus Freeman the benefit of the doubt. They did not give Lincoln Riley the benefit of the doubt. And yet, who has the credentials? Who's achieved a lot in this business, right? So I went into all the details on that. So that's part of our menu today at Trojans Wire.
And unfortunately, I don't think that Marcus Freeman is going to be at Notre Dame much longer.
I hope he stays
can't keep
for
losing
5 more years.
Well, I'm just saying, it's you can't lose.
Can't
rank 5th.
Lose to Marshall. Lose to
you can't keep losing unranked.
That's right. Yep.
Teams you're ranked, especially ranked 5th in the country. This is a massive upset. Irish fans I know are just completely just what just happened. So
UCLA fans wanted Clay Helton to have a lifetime contract. Well, I want Marcus Freeman to have a lifetime contract.
And no lie out there, about a little over a week ago, a lot of you guys were saying, oh shoot, that hey, that Notre Dame game was a lot tougher than it did. That was just a short while ago after we watched that A&M. So just a lesson in letting things play out. So, but anyway, listen, thank you, Mario. Appreciate your call so much. Thank you for calling in, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, yeah, go get something warm down your throat, man. It's gonna help you out, bro.
Oh, I'm completely lose my voice. So I'm completely. I even took a test. I'm completely, as of Saturday morning. I had no other things, but this cough apparently is going to be with me for a while, and it's this cough that's killing my throat. So, but appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care.
Fight on, guys.
Fight on.
Later.
Before we move to the next call, Runaway Prophet with another $5 super chat. Thank you, Runaway Prophet. So you've chipped in twice, 10, now 5. Probably shouldn't fret about early season rankings. Hey, I'm not fretting. I'm just calling out the BS. I'm calling out how unserious it is to be able to do that. So we're just going to make note of that. But thank you, Runaway Prophet.
We got a call on our hotline sponsored by Adam Lamparello. Hi, caller. Who is this, and where are you calling from?
Hey, guys. It's Adam calling from Georgia. How's it going?
Oh, what a surprise. Adam, how you doing? Thank you for, again, I think you have missed one game, but you definitely are the iron horse of this channel. You're here every day, and you're calling every day. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks. Happy to support the channel and love your show. I just had a few points. Number one, I really believe that Miller Moss is the next Drew Brees, and I think New Orleans should draft him because he is so intelligent. The throws he made under pressure against LSU were unbelievable, and it's just great to see that we have this kind of leader on our team. The second thing is, I was wondering from you guys, if you had to point out 2 or 3 weaknesses on the team that you think make us vulnerable, what would they be? And the last thing is, do you think our players have the maturity to handle success and not get complacent?
Matt, you go first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you didn't see complacency from the defense, right? Like pitching a shutout, fighting hard to the very last play against Utah State. It's really on the offense, right? Like this defense just, like, you can kind of just put it in a corner, put it to the side and say, they got this. Like, I total trust in the defense. It's all on the offensive side because you can look at things, Miller Moss telegraphing a few passes, forcing a few throws. You look at the receivers not making catches, and the offensive line, did fine against Utah State, but can it run block against Michigan? Couldn't run block against LSU. Can it run block against Michigan? And so you can envision a scenario. I'm not predicting it's going to happen, but let's say offensive line gets bullied by Michigan's defensive front, caves in the pocket, Miller Moss gets panicky, he throws an out route, pick 6. Like, that could happen. Let's not write off that possibility. Again, not predicting it, but like you can see it happening based on what has transpired these first 2 weeks with the USC offense. I'm just going to put it down here again. Very simply, Adam, if USC commits no turnovers and doesn't allow, 2 kicks for touchdowns the way Boise State did to gift Oregon that lucky win, if USC just avoids the BS, avoids giving away freebies on offense and special teams, and if Michigan does not have a drive start at or near midfield or in USC territory, like if Michigan has to drive at least 60 yards to attempt to score a touchdown on every possession, USC's winning the game. Like USC has to give away freebies for Michigan to win, but that could happen. So I would give USC the edge in this game, but I can see a game where the various components of the offense, which have, not been great. Like USC's offense has not played great. It's had a lot of very good moments, but it has not played a great game yet. And, Roy and Jeff Rodriguez, Roy Banuelos, they both said, and they're correct, Trojan Blade as well. Gabe said this as well in the chat. Of course, Lincoln Riley was keeping the playbook vanilla against Utah State. Like you don't show Michigan like the tricks up your sleeve. You wait for this. And keep in mind, we're going to talk about this over the next 2 weeks. Let's go into Lincoln Riley's history. He at Oklahoma, he usually would play easier opponents first few weeks. I know LSU wasn't easy, but you kind of ease your way into the season. And Oklahoma played at Ohio State, and I think it was week 3 or week 4 of the 2016 season. That was the game when Baker Mayfield went around running with the OU flag at Ohio Stadium after beating Ohio State. Lincoln Riley went into the grab bag. He went into the toy box for some specialty trick plays in that game. You can bet your bottom dollar that you're going to see that from the Lincoln Riley playbook against Michigan. He's definitely saving the good stuff for this game. But that point aside, you can see how USC not playing great on offense these first 2 weeks. You can see a scenario where, the receivers continue to not catch passes in the red zone. Miller Moss continues to telegraph a throw or two. Maybe gets a ball tipped. Maybe there's another running back, who laterals the ball for no good reason. And this time the opponent recovers it. You can see those things happening. Again, not predicting it, but there is so much to clean up on that side of the ball. And if USC can just don't give Michigan free points, that's it. That is the whole ball game. Don't give Michigan anything cheap. If Michigan has to earn points with a long drive the whole game, no exceptions, it's going to be hard for that Michigan offense to actually do anything.
So I'm really going to have to nitpick here. There's a couple of things. One, I'm still seeing some just errors in the blocking game on offensive line, just small, not like we were seeing last year with the Olay, moves at tackle and guard. But I mean, just, there's some things that need to be cleaned up. That's for sure. Matt, you stole my big one, is ball security. They put the ball on the ground a lot. There's been some batted balls. There's been some stuff that in the game, on a road game, going to a conference road game against a defense like this, you're going to have to take care of the ball, because the one way this thing can get sideways for USC, especially on the road, even with a veteran group, is a couple of turnovers. You give them a short field, or worse, you give them a touchdown, a cheapy one. This defense can't help you. So the offense, they got to continue to play complementary football. There have been some moments where ball security has been an issue for this team. And then the other thing is, in a game like this, yes, they lost. Okay, they did. But I think a lot of possessions are going to matter on the road, and possessions when they're going to try to run the ball. I'm not saying they're going to be successful about it, but I think that maybe we're going to not have that many possessions in this game. I don't know. We're going to see. But you got to catch the ball. This time it wasn't about securing the ball. This time it was about just drops, looking upfield, thinking about what you're doing next without just secure, which is weird because this group as a whole, we saw it last year, that they're very good at catching the ball. We just need to make sure that, especially on those high leverage plays, third down, fourth down, second and long, that they're making that catch, so they're not getting behind on the chains and having issues and having to play outside themselves. If this team plays their game, and I believe this, and Michigan plays its game, USC wins. I think USC is. For the first time, I think USC is the overall, from coaching down to the guy that lets you in the parking lot. USC as a whole is the better football team. And if it plays its game and it plays to its ability, and Michigan plays its game and plays to its ability, we are a complete team. Michigan is not a complete team. So.
Yeah, great points, guys. Thank you. Great analysis. And the last thing I'll say is I was just wondering, have you ever thought about maybe organizing, I don't know, like a tailgate or something before, say, one of the games at the Coliseum, so like everyone can meet each other, like from the chat and stuff? I think that'd be really awesome. Just a thought. Thanks for taking my call, as always, and, fight on.
I'm all for any of that. And I think maybe not me organizing it would be a bit difficult for me to do. I mean, outside of, however, we have this wonderful chat that you guys can, and I will promote anything anyone wants to come to me with. If someone says, hey, look, I'm so-and-so, and I follow the show, and we're going to have a tailgate here, I will more than promote it, and if you guys want to meet up, I definitely would show up there. But I'll tell you what, I showed up to the game about 2 hours for the game. I like to get there 3 hours for the game, and I still couldn't get everything done. So it might be hard for me to do that at games. But I know Matt's in Arizona. I don't know if he's going to be out for any of the games. But for instance, I'm going to be at Michigan, so I'm going to all 3 games so far. I'm at every single home game. If you guys see me, let me. I'd love to meet anybody who's a one-time viewer of the show or a long-time caller, or anyone in between. Let us know. We want that engagement. I love it. And I would be more than happy to join a tailgate. I'm so sorry at this point, though, especially me just feeling out the whole process to begin with. I'm not sure if I have the time to do that, but I can stop by and say hi to people. That I would definitely do. So, Adam,
awesome. That'd be great. Well, guys, thanks for taking the call. Yeah.
I'm just saying, Adam, we'll put you in charge, of getting somebody to get it organized. How about that?
I'd be happy to do it. Absolutely.
Not you do it. Just get the guy to do it. Get someone to do it, and we will promote it. We will definitely promote it on the channel and the show.
All right, will do. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
I'll get on it. Thank you.
Wait,
have
Matt,
a great day, guys.
All right, thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. Did I just ask Adam to do one more thing? So not only does he sponsor whole hours of the show, not only does he call in every single show, not only is he in every single chat supporting us with the chat, because you guys, all these things help. Any chat you put into the chat, it helps the algorithm, it helps the show get out there. Any comments you leave after the video, that helps the channel, it helps the show. All these things that people do really help out, and we appreciate if you could help out in any single way. Now that I brought it up, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. We'd really appreciate it. It's right down there. It takes 1 second, and it's painless, I promise. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Tim. It's Augie calling from Oxnard.
Augie from Oxnard. How are you doing? Speaking of long-time callers, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I just got back from Oklahoma. I moved a sister-in-law out there, out in Fort Sill community, and I had to do some preaching and convert some of them non-believers. But I told them, I go, watch. I go, USC's a whole different team, and try to tell some people out there in Laughlin to go make that random bet. But like we said, you build it, they'll come. And I've been a believer. Great show. I like the way Riley's playing his cards. He's not showing his hands, which you do, because I know opponents are scheming. And then we're the real deal, and looking forward to a great season. And thanks for the show. And we are definitely on a conquest. And the Trojan ship has set sail and march on. And who let the dogs out? And the dogs of the world unite, because we're gonna fight.
That's right. We're just getting started, Augie. I mean, I'm fully on board. There were some doubters, some skeptics taking some cheap shots, saying Lincoln Riley doesn't care about defense. Lincoln Riley's on the hot seat. All the junk that we've been hearing. And like you, I tried to convert people in the offseason saying, no, really, I seriously think that they've made the changes they need. And sometimes you just need to see it. And if someone still is saying to you guys any of these is nonsense, either A, they're not being they're being obtuse intentionally, right? You know, they're just doing it. So enjoy it. Enjoy this, but let's not get too excited. There is a game. There's gonna be a fist fight. And this one actually might be a fist fight. So I think we're gonna come on the other end of it very happy, but this is not gonna be people need to bring it down a bit. I know the football team's laser focused, but fans, just for your own mental health, we have to bring it down a little bit. You know, let's start polishing that ring already, because there's a number of very difficult contests that USC has to get through in order to get there.
Exactly, and I like the way how the coaches and the players are all one team, one Ohana dream. You know, they know that what's ahead of them, and you know they don't let the narrative or the skeptics or the outside noise. They take care of their house, and it is our house, and protect it, and we're going to keep fighting and building on it. And it's just a joy to watch, and you know, and yeah, just take it one game at a time and one conquest at a time, and we'll get to the mountaintop. And thanks for taking my call. And you guys have a safe one and stay hydrated, because the heat is still on.
It is. Thank you, Augie. Great call. Great call. Thank you, Augie. Yeah, this is enjoy it. Take it one game at a time, like Augie said, you guys, and enjoy it, because you know, a lot of people tend not to enjoy these times. You just think this is gonna, you go the flow and it's over before you see it. Enjoy, savor every minute, but don't expect it win after win. And for God's sake, I mean, I know it's going to happen, Matt. We drop one game, or we struggle against a team that people think we should put away, and people are going to start hopping off of the train. You got to look at the big picture, you guys. Whenever you have these big picture, look at everything.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we know that teams go through changes over the course of the season, and some teams start out great, and then in October they regress. And for other teams, they can't tie their shoelaces in September, but then October, November, you know, they come alive. So that's kind of why, like, hey, again, I can see the reasons for optimism. Like, I can see this season lining up to be really, really special and memorable for USC. But gosh, it's just so early. That's the thing. Now, if just hypothetically, beat Michigan, beat Wisconsin, beat Penn State, and we're unbeaten at the midway point of the season with, you know, so many big time wins under our belt, like then I'll say, hey, you know, this is really happening. But it just hasn't happened yet. That's part of it. And Tim's speaking to that pretty eloquently. It's just so early.
Yeah, all things look great, but yeah, let's take it as it comes. Hi, caller. Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tim, it's Augie. I'm still on the line. Get a bowl of menudo. Cure that crudo.
I will. Thank you. It's a good call. I need something. Some soup would be awesome. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, didn't know Augie was still there. Sorry about that. Now we're going to have a long, awkward pause till the next call comes through, but I think we got it right away. Hi, caller. What's your name?
Thanks to Willie Permort for the $5 super chat.
Hey, I'm sorry. We're all talking over each other. Hold on a minute. Matt, you want to go ahead?
Just thanks to Willie Permort for the $5 super chat. It's a scary sight to come. Lincoln Riley has a defense. The college football world has been put on notice. Danny Kennedy, we have 2 weeks to clean up our mistakes. Yes, we do. That's good. So we have 2 weeks to practice and sharpen up. All right, next call.
All right, caller. Hey, caller. Hey, caller. Hang on one second. You have to start all over again. Can you hear us?
All right. I do now. I had somebody talking over me. Maybe it was Matt.
Yeah, we're doing a call-in show. Hold on. We're doing a call-in show. So we do talking on this end, and then we take your call. So you guys, callers, one more time, really quick. I know it can be a bit confusing. What we need you to do is just wait till we have a break in our, you know, in the conversation, and we'll always bring you on. I have a call queue, but I don't have the ability to keep you on hold while I'm on the show. I can't do both. So what I do is I bring you in and you're back, and I can lower your volume if you talk, but I'd rather you guys just wait, and then when we call on you, go ahead and come on in. So caller, hi, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Tom from Hummel, and anybody see the LSU game? You can't hear me?
No, we got you.
Get your hands up like you can hear me. Okay. The LSU game had a very similar end of the first half when their kicker missed. Oh boy. All right. You just went off the screen. Their kicker missed a field goal, and Brian Kelly's reaction was so much different than Lincoln Riley's. I thought that was quite a contrast. And I'll just keep going, whether you're listening or not.
We're here. We got you.
Okay. The Pac-12 ghosts are just terrorizing the Power 4 conferences and with their defense. Washington hasn't allowed a point scored. I think USC is holding teams down, and Auburn got held down. So this worry that Pac-12 teams couldn't play defense, I think, could be put to rest. And I guess the last observation is I'm old enough to know of a guy named the Mad Stork, Ted Hendricks.
Mm-hmm.
And Ted Hendricks was a Mad Stork. Gentry, he's got to be at least an egret. He occupies 14 feet in every direction. He was just tremendous last night. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, I think he led a team of tackles. All the Raider fans know about Ted Hendricks. He's just that tall, rangy guy. Plays kind of plays like almost out. It feels like out of position. Do you know what I mean? But he's not. I mean, if you're athletic enough to do it, like Gentry had that tip pass in LSU that we got to see a lot of. We got used to seeing it. It kind of went away. It was, he kind of fought through some stuff last year, well documented about what was going on in our defense last year. But the big difference is that when you allow him to play like I like the way they're using him. Like you see him a lot in the backfield now, kind of like what we saw when he was a freshman at Arizona State. That's what's really kind of turned up in his game is just his ability to get into the backfield and make things happen. So Matt, I'm excited. Eric Gentry, when you talk to Matt Entz and he would bring Eric Gentry up all the time to Danton Lynn, you just see it in their faces. They're like, yeah, this guy's going to do some pretty crazy stuff. We want to see how we can use him.
When you hear him, his enthusiasm comes through. And I think that reflects in his play this year. He's just more enthusiastic with this group.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, listen, that's the half of it. You don't hear, we get to see when you're on the field and when you're at press conferences, you get to see all of Eric Gentry. And I'll tell you what, the young man is an amazing guy. He's serious, but he also likes to have fun. And when he's serious about his craft and what he's doing. And when he's having fun, that guy seems like he's having fun 24 hours a day. Matt, what are your thoughts on Eric Gentry?
No, he's a beast. I mean, he's been unleashed. And, the thing we have to keep going back to with Eric Gentry is under Alex Grinch, he was soft. And that wasn't a criticism of the player so much as the way he was playing. But he wasn't sure how to approach plays, and he got overpowered by Utah whenever he'd line up against the Utes and their mashers. You don't see that anymore. So you're seeing a guy who's coached better, and you're seeing the USC's shift in strength training and conditioning also paying off. So better coaching, better operations, better philosophy, better everything. And it's leading to a better player. It's just showing how this is a professional operation on defense. It wasn't the last 2 years. It is now. Our friend John Diadamo from the Michigan show and the Michigan channel at the Voice of College Football, he's asking us, what was the factor in the turnaround? We don't need to complicate this. It's professional coaching, development. There's just a high standard of professionalism now that didn't exist last year. It's that simple. With the secondary, Taylor Mays and Doug Belk, running that shot. Guys are tackling, guys are in position. They weren't under Dante Williams. It's just, again, let me repeat this one more time. This is a triple stack of positives and additions for USC. Triple stack. 1, Grinch and Williams out, addition by subtraction. 2, addition by retention, keeping Taylor Mays. 3, the additions of Danton Lynn, Coach Henney, Woof Woof, Matt Entz, Doug Bell. You had addition by subtraction, addition by retention, addition by addition. 3 different flavors of added value to the USC coaching staff, and you're seeing all of it in effect.
And the other side of that is, if we do the full picture as well, when Lincoln Riley took over this team, the roster was really behind. That's the best way I can say it. We did not have traditional USC quality talent and depth, especially on both lines. The offensive line is now a work in progress. This is year 3. We are seeing the improvement. We are seeing this team be able to pass protect and to run. It's a work in progress. But that's the other part of this, Matt, that's really important. If you want to talk to someone on the outside, say, hey, what's this big turnaround? And that also is coaching, because there's also coaching going on the offensive side, and there's also recruiting going on. So with the new defensive coaching and along with building this roster, that's the big turnaround. This is year 3. I know we're the year with the we all believe that the transfer portal NIL, you just kind of snap your fingers, you can build a roster. John would know, of all people, Michigan. It took Michigan years to build that quality depth that they had to win the national championship. Years to build that roster. So Lincoln Riley at year 3, it looks like it has a roster that compete with a lot of teams now.
All right. One final thought is, you guys, did you think that we had to adjust to the rest of the country with our style of play? Because it seems like the rest of the country had to adjust to, according to these results, the style of play of the Pac-12. And defensively, they're excelling.
I would say that the Pac-12 was so good last year that it exposed the lack of professionalism on the Alex Grinch, Dante Williams staff more than perhaps another. Like, if USC was playing in the ACC, would it have been exposed to the extent that it was last year? Probably not. And it is worth emphasizing that because USC was so fully exposed, that made it easier for Lincoln Riley to cut the cord with Alex Grinch and make these changes the way he did. I can't stress enough, it's so important that USC finished 7-5 instead of 9-3, because 9-3 might have given Riley a reason to stay with Grinch. He might have been able to rationalize in his mind, well, we're not that far away. But because USC fell all the way to 7-5, it slammed the door shut on Alex Grinch, and it affirmed in a very powerful way to Lincoln Riley, whoa, I have to do this thing very differently. So the philosophical change was pronounced, and it was easier for Lincoln Riley to make it. But to his credit, he still had to do it, and he did it.
Directly to your question, I think is that the Pac-12 just hasn't got a lot of respect, period. You saw the Pac-12 overlooked. I mean, every year the Pac-12 has solid teams. It just seems like this narrative goes for a while that there was only 2 conferences in college football, and a lot of circles just one conference in college football, and nothing else mattered, because if you don't win a playoff, then if you haven't won a playoff game, then you're irrelevant. It's just this stupid mindset that people have kind of put out there in the national media, when in reality, last year, the teams you're talking about, I mean, you had Washington go on that great run. Oregon had a solid season. Even Arizona was playing really well at the end of the season. So, and UCLA playing great defense quietly because their offense was, non-existent. But the issue is I think that there's always been great teams and great talent on the West Coast, and I this big mystery of these, they still don't get it. They got USC outside the top 10. The big mystery that what goes on here on the West Coast football it's just been that for years, going back even to sometimes before Pete got on his big run, when SC would have good teams, you wouldn't really hear about it. So I think with Lincoln Riley, and if they continue to play great defense and they play complementary football like they've been doing, that's going to go a long way to dispelling that myth. And if Oregon wakes up, then maybe they can help out with the West Coast cause too.
Thanks for playing hurt, Tim. Good hearing from you, Matt. Thanks. I always enjoy hearing you. I'll let somebody else get on. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. You guys, I'd open up a call. We got one caller in the call queue, so this would be a good time if you guys want to call in. Go ahead and give us a call. Phone number's right up here, 888-997-4539. Would love to hear from a Michigan fan. We're kind of coming up, the entire chat's coming pretty hard for Michigan. Haven't heard a counterpoint yet. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Caller, you there?
Hello?
Yeah. Hi. You're on with Matt and Tim. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I got to call you back, man. It's the phone.
Okay. Give us a call. All right. Well, that means now we're down to 0 calls. So, Matt, anything on your mind? Oh, I could probably do this. So thank you guys. I've been asking you guys this be a good time for you guys to go and hit the like and subscribe button, but also a big thank you to everyone. There's guys over on Twitter, like Trojan Blade, every single show. He retweets our show. Bill, also over on Twitter, Sacramento Trojan, Life Torch Podcast, Preston and Ronan. Thank you to all you guys for retweeting our show. You guys, if you enjoy this, you have a Trojan fan out there that you know, go ahead and let them know about us and tell them to come on in. Remember every Monday and every Friday, right, Matt? Okay, no, sorry, every Tuesday and every Friday we have a show, and then for the post game show, if it's early enough, we'll have a post game show, and if it's late like last night, we'll have a show the next day. So you're probably getting at least 3 shows a week. Let your friends know about us. Thank you to all you guys that retweeted our show. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Okay, caller. Hi. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Leon from Florida. What's going on, guys?
Leon, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Just been working hard, 60-hour weeks, man. So.
Ooh. Well, I'm glad you get a little free time to call in. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. Well, first off, Tim, that's a great hat, man. Beautiful colors.
Absolutely.
Second thing, I know there was a caller, about 3 or 4 callers back. He was talking about looking at recruits and who we have and who was at the game. Scott Schrader has a great thread out there about the Ty Jackson commitment. And inside that thread, there is a diagram of all the players that have committed in their positions. It's a really good thread if you want to check that out.
Is that is that behind a paywall, or is that free for everybody?
Yeah, it's behind the paywall.
Okay.
I mean, I think they still got specials out there for like $1. So.
No, I'm not. I just told everyone earlier. I don't know if you heard it earlier, but Leon, I already said that you guys, if you guys are in recruiting and you're not subscribing, yes, there's deals going on. Go for it. But if you're in like recruiting, that you pony up a couple dollars and you will get the professional viewpoint on all this stuff. So yeah, you should definitely do it.
Yeah, and definitely you want to follow Lincoln Riley and some of the guys on USC because we just got another commit like 12 minutes ago.
There you go. I mean,
anyway.
This is what's going to happen. But Leon, this is what we said. I mean, these guys want to be Trojans. They just want to see it, and now they're seeing it.
I definitely want to apologize, man, because I think before the season started, and we were talking about recruiting and stuff like that, and we kept saying we need more interior defensive linemen, especially after Rakes left. And what we didn't really realize was how much of a benefit Benny Wiley and Rachel from the nutrition team, and we already had the linemen we needed on the team. Like, we have some dudes that are just straight monsters, and with the great coaching that we're getting, we can see the benefits of having really good coaches and people who are committed to the program. And Lincoln Riley, setting the culture, telling the players what we need to be, man, the defense looks great, man.
Yes, we do. But I will tell you, we've had one big test, and we're about to hit the Big Ten schedule. And when I think you heard Matt and me saying is we're looking the season. And I think that the depth, I think I was on record saying even back into the summer that, hey, look, if these young guys come in, develop. Hey, look, if some of the guys are already on the roster kind of step up, like which they've then I'm not as worried about it, because what I'm worried about is not the beginning of the game, not our 22 against their 22. No, my worry was about what's it look like late in the third into the fourth quarter. What's it going to look like in late October and November? That's the picture that we're not totally sure about yet, but you have to be completely optimistic from what we've seen so far. Let's see a couple more of these contests like we saw where you had LSU, who was absolutely committed to running the ball down our throat. You're going to see another one. Michigan, because they sure as hell can't throw the ball, they're going to try to run the ball at USC and really try to pin their ears back. And maybe it's an offensive line that's not maybe as highly touted as the LSU guys telling us this is the best LSU offensive line ever at LSU. You know, there might be a veteran defensive line that we go up against that may give us trouble late into a game. I don't think we've fully answered that question yet, Matt. I'm not totally comfortable putting that one to bed. What I am saying and what I have said is two things. One, it sure looks like they've made the adjustments. No, I don't think we need the worry and freaking out over not getting that nose tackle isn't so big a deal as we thought it was. But we really won't know until we have, and I'm not saying actual injuries, but some guys dinged up playing hurt, because we don't get the reps in. It looks like we've had that situation. I want to know what this looks like later in the year. If we say, God forbid we have a couple of injuries, what does that depth look like down the road? Matt, your thoughts on can we just put that one to bed, or do you still want to see what these younger guys can step up and completely show us they can take and again, what I'm talking about is just a pounding of fifth-year like offensive linemen that are 315, 320 pounds that are just leaning on them for 60 minutes. That's my concern.
Yeah, hey, through 2 games, strength training, strength and conditioning looks really good. Benny Wiley doing a really good job. However, and I'm not about to criticize anyone. This is just really a wait and see comment. USC not only has this Michigan game coming up as the next game on the slate, but USC, because it has this off week in the middle of September, USC does not have another off week until November 9. So USC is not only playing 7 straight Saturdays, starting with the Michigan game on September 21st, but now 7 straight games against Big Ten teams. And so we're going to find out about the stamina, the depth, the endurance, the staying power week to week. And, you're like USC's going to fly to Ann Arbor, but after, 2 weeks off. So it's not really as much of a grind going to Ann Arbor, the Big Ten travel that we've been talking about all off season. But USC will eventually get into that mode. Host Wisconsin, go to Minnesota, host Penn State, go to Maryland, host Rutgers on a short week, go to Seattle. So you're playing 7 consecutive weeks with the cross-country travel against a lot of tough teams. Rutgers is not an elite team, but Rutgers plays a physical, hard-nosed style of ball. So the Trojans will need to be fresh. They'll need to be physically ready to play that game. Not saying that that game is going to be uniquely tough, but Rutgers isn't going to be a pillow fight. It's going to, Rutgers is going to require something of USC physically. So week after week, these games are going to stack up. And I think you divide this 7 games sequence coming up into 2 segments. The first segment's the big hitters, right? Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State, 3 of those in a 4-week span. And then after Penn State, it's, can you, whether winning or losing, can you then avoid a letdown? Can you avoid a lull in that Maryland, Rutgers, Washington 3-game stack leading into that next off week on November 9th? So really the next 4 games, Michigan through Penn State, and then those other 3 games, Maryland through Washington, by November 2nd, we will then really know about this team. But in particular, through the Penn State game, Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State, if USC navigates those pretty smoothly, we will get clearer answers. They're coming. I don't think we should be making pronouncements right now. Let's keep in mind, after USC obliterated Stanford last year in September, we were thinking, hey, this defense played well to the finish, but we didn't know how bad Stanford actually was, and obviously the how weak the early season schedule was for USC masked some of the deficiencies. So the conversation did change a lot over the course of last season. It could change a lot over the course of this season. So hey, great job by this staff through 2 weeks, but again, it's just early, and we need to see this team ride through some ups and downs. And by saying ups and downs, I'm not saying that means, oh, we're going to get picked off by Michigan. I don't mean that. I'm just saying, it's not just going to go straight up. That's not how seasons go. Even for successful teams, everyone runs into adversity. The exception being 1995 Nebraska. And I don't think anyone's going to confuse this USC team with 1995 Nebraska. So let's let the season play out, run its course, and we'll get better answers about everything before too long.
So Matt went into a lot of detail on that, but yes, all of that, what he just said, because I'm very excited what we're seeing on the field. We need to see it for 12 games. And then if the team is good as we think it is, and it might get to the playoffs, and then we're going to need to see it for additional games. So I'm very excited. And I think that the coaching staff has completely vindicated themselves why they start going throwing big dollars at those tackles that, quite frankly, probably weren't as talented as some of the guys that we already have on our roster. So I'm okay with that. What I am still worried about is how do we hold up? I'm not saying we're not going to hold up. I'm saying we're going to need to see it. This is just another show me kind of situation. And, but I'm very, very positive about us being able to do that. But I hope that answers in quite detail your question, Leon.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm not saying we should look at them the next coming of the Bears 85 defensive line. But one thing I stood out watching the LSU game 3 or 4 times, the snap count of our defensive line, 20 reps, 30 reps, rotating guys in. And if you watch the fourth quarter, the LSU linemen were tired. They didn't have any more fight left in them. And everybody saw the video that I know I posted on Twitter when Anthony Lucas basically decapitated the guard when he was pulling. They didn't want any more of the USC defensive line. And if you go look at some of the teams that Matt was talking about that we're going to play, Maryland and Michigan lines, I don't see anything that should scare us as long as we take care of business and come in with the same hunger and the same fight we did the first game.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught it or not, but I actually played that during our intro. If you probably didn't catch our call-in show last week, but I snuck that in as like an Easter egg into the normal intro. But yeah, great call, Leon. Appreciate it. I think we have a lot to look forward to. I think we need everyone to slow down, enjoy the victory, be excited. But seriously, I know we're not playing on the game in 2 weeks, but even as fans, you guys got to keep your heads a little bit cooler, because to think that we're just going to walk right into Ann Arbor for the first conference game against a very, excuse the metaphor, but a wounded animal in the Michigan team right now. They have their backs against the wall. There's a lot of pride on the line, top of the defending national champions, and you want to walk right into their home when they've been kind of embarrassed and just think you're going to walk right through us. This team's going to come fired up, and they have NFL talent on that defense. USC's got to take care, like we talked about, take care of the ball and be focused. You got to make those plays. You got to have that mental strength. So great call. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Leon.
Oh, yes, sir. Fight on. See y'all later.
Fight on. Well, I think we're out of calls. And you've been on for a couple hours. I came a little bit later.
Yeah.
So we are winding down. Matt, do you have anything to add, or we just get ready to wrap up here?
If you want to wrap up, that's fine by me. We have to post our story on the coaches poll, so you want to look at that at Trojans Wire later today. And of course, we're going to ride right into our Michigan coverage for the next 2 weeks, both here at Trojans Wire and also on the USC channel at the Voice of College Football. But one thing I want to reiterate: through 2 weeks, the 3 best teams in the Big Ten, USC, Ohio State, and who's number 3? Indiana. Kurt Cignetti, Indiana put 77 on a cupcake. Now, I know it was just a cupcake, Western Illinois, but still, Indiana scoring 77 on anyone? Like, Indiana looks really good. It looks like Indiana in the Big Ten has really made a special hire, but like, Oregon's not a top 5 team in the Big Ten right now. You certainly can't say that based on the way the Ducks have played. So, like, you know, the landscape has shifted early in the season in a lot of unexpected ways. And so, like, if you're a USC fan, you're definitely optimistic. And of course, the Michigan game is going to be a great revealer of what we're going to see for the rest of the season.
Yeah. We know they have no offense. People keep talking about the offense. They really are struggling on offensive line, and I don't know how these big teams come into a season with talent, especially on their defense, and forget that they need quarterbacks. I mean, is that a Big Ten thing we need to learn about? Because in the Pac-12, we're used to having NFL quarterbacks. We're walking into a conference that looks like the guys want to be title contenders, and they have pretty mediocre quarterbacks, and it's kind of weird for me to see, man. It's just a glaring observation. It's kind of hard to overlook that you go into a college football season and you don't have even one guy that you think it's going to be an NFL quarterback, and they're just littered with all the quote unquote favorites in the conference and favorites to win the national championship, and yet you're seeing mediocre quarterback play from all these teams.
And, you know, it's funny how these coaches think they can fix these problem quarterbacks, you know, problem not in terms of character, just in terms of, you know, quality. Like Mike Norvell, you know, getting DJ Uiagalelei, you know, thinking that he can fix him. That was dumb. Auburn, Hugh Freeze. You know, Hugh Freeze is a good coach. Might not have good ethics, but like, he's a good coach. He beat Nick Saban twice at Ole Miss. You know, he's won a New Year's Six Bowl. Like, he knows what he's doing as a head coach, or at least we think we know what he's doing. But he doubled down with Peyton Thorne, and Peyton Thorne just couldn't do anything. Auburn loses at home to Cal. Like, yeah, these coaches are not making the right decisions with their quarterbacks. It's not just Big Ten; it's pervasive throughout college football, and USC is certainly in a position to benefit going up against Davis, Warren, and Michigan. Michigan does seem to have been caught shorthanded. John Diadamo, by the way, said earlier in the chat he thinks Michigan should run an option offense with Alex Orji. You know, just go with an option attack. Sounds like the right idea, because I don't see Davis Warren doing anything to threaten USC.
And it's not just, I mean, it's not just a couple schools. And here's the thing, when you go talk about Norvell, for me, really, is that, you know, there's a lot of coaches, good coaches, that win a lot of games with great quarterbacks. But you know what makes a great coach? When you win lots of games with a good quarterback. And there's some coaches that show they can do that, and there's some coaches that show that they can't do that. And I think that's very telling about your offensive system and who you are as a coach, when your success is dependent on having an NFL quarterback. Where you look at more as you look at guys that develop guys that aren't expected to be NFL quarterbacks, turn them into guys that are looking to get drafted and making an offense click and run when the quarterback probably isn't your prototypical NFL guy. That's when you say things like the best play caller in college football, when you say things like a great offensive coordinator, we say things about a great head coach, is when you find ways to win when you don't have all the pieces. And I'm going to tell you, this year, USC's playing great, but we don't have all the pieces. This is a lot of development going on, and it looks like the recruits are listening and seeing that. There's a lot of development going on. There's a lot of culture going on, and there's coaches that play to the strengths of the guys that are on their team. And it's not predicated if, are we going to be good this year if we have all the right guys? It's, okay, this is what I have. Here's what we're going to do to make it work. That's great coaching. Oh, right. So I think that's going to do it, because this is a personal call, which is weird. Matt, any last comments?
Just follow us at Trojans Wire. Look at Tim's gallery. Look at my report card, and we have to do our final promo for Mark Rogers' Patreon channel. And of course, we're going to be on with Mark Rogers. Well, I'm going to be on with Mark Rogers Tuesday night, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, and then Friday night. We're settling on Friday night for our call-in show during the week here at the Voice of College Football. But we're gonna send you out with this promo for Mark Rogers' Patreon channel here at the Voice of College Football. Thanks to Adam. Thanks to all our callers, all the super chats. Danny Kennedy, Runaway Prophet, Roy Banuelos, Guy Smithson. So many different people contributing to our show. We appreciate your support, and we thank you for sticking with us through all the technology gremlins and everything this morning with the late start. Also, Tim's going to be covering that Michigan game. I know it's 2 weeks away, but he's going to be there in Ann Arbor. Looking forward to that as well. So much good stuff here at the Voice of College Football and here at Trojans Wire.
And Willie Permount, thank you so much for your super chat as well.
Yes. All right. Here's the Mark promo. So we'll see you on Tuesday.
College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.
All right, Fight On, guys. We'll see you all on Tuesday. Take care, everybody.